Everybody wonders if you're going to back anyone outright yet. My guess is you won't until we know who all the runners and riders are. But do you think there is a clear favourite?
Well, good morning, and thank you for having me on. And yes, you're right. I haven't yet decided who I'm going to vote for. I mean, it looks like, this is going to be like the Grand National, but without the fences. So we're probably heading for at least a dozen candidates at the moment. And I think I and a lot of my colleagues will want to know exactly who the runners and riders are before deciding, as it were, which candidate to back. And I don't think that's an unreasonable position to take. But we won't know the precise timetable until we elect the 1922 committee on Monday, who will oversee the process. But according to a number of media reports this morning, it looks like we're probably going to start voting on Wednesday, and then it's our job as members of Parliament to knock it down to two candidates, either of whom could be a credible Prime Minister, and we then put those two candidates to our voluntary party members around the country, of whom there's a little under 200,000, and they will then select the winning candidate in a postal ballot. So we'll probably have the process completed, I should think, by the end of August, and we'll probably have a new Prime Minister in post, again according to media reports, by the time the House of Commons comes back from the summer recess on the 5th of September, and they would do their first Prime Minister's questions on the Wednesday, which is the 7th.
I know it's accepted process. This is the way it's done. This is the way the Conservative Party selects a leader. But do you feel at all uncomfortable about the fact that it is only paid-up members of the Conservative Party now who will decide who is our next Prime Minister?
Well, this has been the way that we've done it for a number of years. Labour have their own electoral college, which includes the trade unions. So, the different parties have their own traditions of doing it. But whoever we pick, the critical thing constitutionally is, can that person command a working majority in the House of Commons? And if they can, then normally the sovereign would ask them to become Prime Minister. It was a similar situation, when Gordon Brown took over from Tony Blair some years ago. So that is not constitutionally unusual.
Oh, indeed not. But what's your sense? I know you're not going to sort of stick a pin in the list of names yet. Quite right too. But what's your sense as to what sort of direction the party needs to go in? Is it some sense of continuity? Is it bringing it back to core Conservative values? Is it a sense of letting the young blood, the new blood, rise to the surface and really refresh government now? What would you like to see happen?
Well, there is a lot of talent in the Conservative Party, and I think Tory MPs and ultimately our members will have a lot of very good candidates to choose from. There were some rumours that some MPs were trying to arrange a so-called coronation, whereby the MPs would keep this decision to themselves. I'm completely opposed to that. We had a coronation in 2016, and look what happened to that. So I don't actually think that's going to come to pass. I think that will be a decision for our party members. I think MPs trying to hold it to themselves would be wrong. So when it gets to our members, by that stage, I hope they'll have two very credible candidates to choose from. Speaking purely personally, I think it's important that whoever we pick is someone who is committed to see through the Brexit process and to make the most of it, in terms of global Britain, our presence on the international stage, for instance.
Forgive me for jumping in.
Just to finish. If you're asking me what are my instincts, which I think was the tenor of your question, I personally believe it's very important that whoever we pick is someone who is genuinely committed to the Brexit process, not just someone who mouths the words in order to try and get elected.